Hello everyone. Good morning. Welcome to Q&A class. Am I audible, students?
Good morning, ma'am. Yes.
Good morning, Arush. Thank you for responding. So, we had already been continuing this chapter, which was the fundamental unit of life. And today we are further going to explore more topics in it. Okay. So, let's quickly move ahead. So, prerequisites for attending today's lecture would be that you need to know about the cell organelles. So, till now we have covered all of the cell organelles. We had covered endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi bodies, lysosomes, mitochondria, plastids. Do you people have any doubts in any of these topics? Any doubts, Bacho? Any doubts, students?
No, ma'am.
To rest all of you, do you have any doubts? Okay, thank you for
No,
responding.
oh
If
man.
you if you have, then let me know in the comment section. I will take up your doubts. Okay. Now, so I think cell organelles are thorough with you people and plant cell and animal cell. So today we are going to talk about vacuoles, and for that I believe personally that till now you have this clarity that what's the difference between a plant cell and what's the difference between a plant cell and animal cell. So can you people write it in the chat box? What's the basic difference between a plant cell and an animal cell? Any one particular difference, very peculiar difference between plant cell and animal cell? Quickly write it in the chat box, everyone. Okay, Shubhranshu. Very good. Very good, Arush. Rest all of you. Kevin, Hannah, Ane, Samagna, Arsh, Rudra, Hannah. Kevin. Yes. Very good, everyone. So yes, plant cells, they have cell walls while animal cells do not have a cell wall. So that's one major difference between a plant cell and an animal cell. Okay. The cell wall in plants is made up of? The cell wall in plants is made up of? Very good, Arush. Another difference, plant cells have chloroplast while animal cells do not have chloroplast. Very good. Very good, Shubhranshu. Cellulose. Very good. Arush, no. Peptidoglycan is present in the cell wall of bacteria. Cellulose is present in the cell wall of plants. No worries, okay? Correct your answer. So now these are all the basic differences between a plant cell and animal cell. Now one more thing to gain clarity on this topic. Now let me ask you people that out of plant cells and animal cells, which one is a prokaryotic cell and which one is a eukaryotic cell?
Ma'am, can you repeat the
Shh.
question?
Okay. I thought you were answering it in the by unmuting yourself. Answer it in the chat box. My question is that out of plant cells and animal cells, which one is prokaryotic and which one is eukaryotic? Just let me know your answer in the comment section. Okay. No unmuting yourself. I want everyone's answer. I'm taking a note of everyone's answer. I'll consider this question. I'll consider this question as your assessment. Okay. I want everyone's answer in the chat box. Okay. Okay. Everyone else, Kevin. Okay. Now, okay. Hena, okay. Now, wait. Wait, everyone. Let me see answers of all of you. Wait, everyone. Stop writing. Stop writing. Wait, everyone. Stop writing. Kamalan, yes, you can write. You can give your answer because you hadn't given it earlier. Okay. Now, let me see answers of everyone. Shubhranshu. I think plant cell is eukaryotic. Okay. Shubhranshu, raise your hand, please. Shubhranshu, raise your hand. Okay. Keep raising your hand. Okay. Ane, raise your hand. Ane, raise your hands. Keep raising it. Ane, okay. Wait. Rudra, raise your hands. Rudra, raise your hand and keep raising it. Rudra, yes. Wait. Kamalan and Samagna, raise your hands. Kamalan and Samagna, raise your hand. Keep raising it, okay? Wait. Okay. Now, Aditi and Shaktivel. Aditi and Shaktivel. What's your answer? Out of plant cells and animal cells, which one is eukaryotic, which one is prokaryotic? Quickly. Quickly, I want answer in the chat box within a second. No more wasting of time. Arush, wait, I've got your answer. Wait, Arush, Kevin, Henna, I've got your answers. Wait. Okay. Now, Aditi and Shaktivel, what's your answer? Quickly, bache. Okay. Aditi has given the answer. Shaktivel, what's your answer? Shaktivel, what's your answer? Rudra, okay, I've got your answer. Wait, Shaktivel, I want answer from you. Yes. Okay, now to Shaktivel, let's wait. Wait, Rudra, I'm coming to you. Wait. Shaktivel, waiting just for Shaktivel. Shaktivel, my question is out of plant cell and animal cell, which one is eukaryotic, which one is prokaryotic? Quickly give answer, okay? We have already wasted quite a minute on this question. Quickly. Okay. Now to all those students, Ane, Shubhranshu, Rudra, Samagna and Kamalan. Aren't both the cells eukaryotic? And who has written that? Ane, I think you have written that, ma'am. Plant is prokaryotic. Animal is eukaryotic. Yes? Ane? Ane, unmute yourself. Okay. किसने बोला?
No.
रुद्र ने बोला. Okay, wait. रुद्र ने बोला ना? हाँ, रुद्र ने बोला था. हाँ जी, रुद्र unmute yourself. रुद्र unmute yourself. Quickly.
Yes, ma'am.
हाँ जी. Plant prokaryotic होता है?
No, ma'am. Both are eukaryotic.
हाँ, तो कहाँ सोते हुए जवाब देते हो फिर? ऐसे नहीं करना है.
से गलत हो गया था.
Okay, so see students, both cells are eukaryotic only. Okay, please get this concept cleared. Only bacterial cells are prokaryotic. Is it clear to everyone? Okay, now you can put down your hands. Okay, now let's move. Always clear. Chaliye. Now let's move ahead with the next part. And wait. My remote also sometimes sleeps like you people. Wait. Okay. So now next, what topics we are going to cover in today's class? So we are going to talk about vacuoles, eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell, and also cell division. Okay. Outline. So vacuoles, eukaryotic cell and prokaryotic cell, and cell division. Although if you remember my introductory class, I had already told you the basic differences between a eukaryotic and prokaryotic cell, because that's the first thing which I do when I begin the class of this particular topic. But nonetheless, if you hadn't attended that lecture, then you can see what's the difference between a eukaryotic and a prokaryotic cell now. Okay. Now let's quickly move ahead with the last cell organelle. Okay. Yes, I am going to explain Arush and vacuoles in detail in this class. Yes. So vacuoles. Now coming to vacuoles. See, vacuoles, they are basically storage sacs for solid or liquid contents. Okay, that means inside a cell, sometimes the vacuoles, they store several solid and liquid contents. Okay. Now, vacuole is bound by a single membrane. Okay, so you can see this. This is the single membrane of a vacuole. Now, if you can look the image of this cell, which is shown to you here, then can you tell me which cell is this? This is a plant cell or this is an animal cell? Can anybody tell me by the image which is shown here, which type of cell is this? Is this a plant cell or is this an animal cell? Okay, very good. Yes, that's a plant cell. Okay. So firstly, I think all of you can recognize plant cell by these two chloroplasts which are present here. Okay, these two are green chloroplasts which are present here, which initially, or you can say that which immediately identifies it that this is a plant cell. And also look at the size of the vacuole from here. Okay. So now the membrane of the vacuole. Okay, so this one is additional information for all of you, which is not present in NCERT. So the membrane of vacuole has got a special name. For rest of the cell organelles, like it was whether it was endoplasmic reticulum or whether it was mitochondria, anything or chloroplast, we had not till yet given a very special name to any cell organelle's plasma membrane. But here, the membrane of the vacuole has got a special name, and this is called as tonoplast. Okay, so the membrane of vacuole is called as tonoplast. Very important question. And this is just one layer. Okay, this is just one layer. For rest of the cell organelles, if you remember, for example, when we were talking about mitochondria, so mitochondria, this was the first membrane of mitochondria, and then you had a second membrane of mitochondria which was folded like that. Okay, similarly, when we had talked about chloroplast, this was the first membrane of chloroplast and this was the second membrane of chloroplast. Okay, so these were double membrane bounded structures. However, when we talk about vacuole, vacuole is just bounded by a single membrane. Okay, there is just one single membrane which is called as tonoplast. Now they do not have any basic shape or size. That means they are not limited by any particular shape and they do not have a fixed size as well. The structure of the vacuole changes according to the need of the cell. So yes, if the cell requires to store a large amount of liquid material in it, then obviously the vacuole size would be bigger. However, if there is not much to be stored in the vacuoles, then obviously the vacuole size would be smaller. So it changes according to the cell's requirement. Now, the important difference between plant cell and animal cell is the number of the vacuoles present in it. Yes, this is very important part of the vacuoles, that when you look at a plant cell, okay, and when you look at an animal cell. So when we talk about an animal cell, let's say for example, so this was the animal cell. Now in the animal cell, the central part is again nucleus. Inside this you have your DNA present, then you have your endoplasmic reticulum and you have your several other cell organelles present. Okay, you have your several other cell organelles present like this. Now what happens, you can see from here that there would be small 2 to 3 vacuoles present. Okay, so there would be fewer vacuoles and they would be smaller in size in animals, smaller in size, and number would also be less in comparison to a plant cells. Now, if you could recall my previous class also, then also I had told you that when we talk about, so see from here, this is an animal cell, and animal cell, the vacuoles, they are fewer in number and they are very small in size as compared to the plant cells vacuole. Okay, see from here, the vacuole here is so big in a plant cell, whereas the vacuole here is so small in an animal cell. Okay. Now, plant cells, they have one or more large vacuole. Now, the important thing to note here is that in case of a plant cell, see, this was an animal cell which I had drawn here. Okay. In animal cells, the vacuoles are lying or they are scattered in the cytoplasm. However, when we talk about a plant cell, what happens in a plant cell? Always remember this whenever this question comes to you, that you have to differentiate between a plant cell and an animal cell. Do not make nucleus in the center. Okay, do not make nucleus in the center. What you have to do is that you have to shift the nucleus to one side of the cell. In a plant cell, the nucleus is not located in the center. It is shifted to one side of the cell. Why? Because of the large central vacuole. Okay, so this is very, very important part of plant cells, that it has a large central vacuole present in it. Okay, so the nucleus is shifted slightly towards the side of the cell. There would be, Arush, there would be one or two large sized vacuoles. See, the shape of the vacuoles is not fixed, whether it is in plant cells or whether it is in animal cells. It might be possible that the plant cell has very large one central vacuole and one or two small vacuoles. But usually the size of the vacuoles which are present in plant cells, they are usually larger than the animal cells. Okay. So when you see an animal cell and when you see a plant cell, in plant cell, you will have a centralized large vacuole present. It might be more than one in number also. Clear, Arush? Okay. Shubhranshu, do you have any doubt? You have raised your hand. Shubhranshu, do you have any doubts? You have raised your hand. Okay. Now, moving ahead. So, this was the basic difference between a plant cell and an animal cell's vacuole. Now let's see what's the function of a vacuole. We have read the structure and the number of the vacuoles which are present in plant cells and animal cells. Let's see what's the function of the vacuoles. So one very, very important function of vacuoles is that they help to maintain the osmotic pressure of the cell. Okay. So remember what happens basically. See, this was a cell. Okay. And outside the cell, you have extracellular fluid also, and this extracellular fluid, its concentration will be varying at different times. Okay, sometimes it would be hypertonic, sometimes it would be hypotonic. Okay, and sometimes it would be isotonic to the cells inside. So its concentration would keep on changing, the extracellular fluids concentration. So now what happens if suppose this concentration of the extracellular fluid becomes hypertonic, then the cell would lose water. Okay, or either what will happen, this if this is hypotonic, if this is hypotonic, then the cell will gain water and it will swell. So such type of disturbances are not usually seen when the cell is present inside the living organism or when the cell is present inside the organism. But how is it getting maintained? We have read that when you are taking an isolated cell and you are putting it in a beaker and you are changing the concentration of the solution, every time the cell was responding to it. But if the similar situation is created inside the body of the organism, then the cell remains stable. So who is maintaining the osmotic pressure of the cell? It is basically the vacuole which is maintaining the osmotic pressure of the cell. By how? So let's see, suppose if water, if the ECF's concentration, if there is more water present in the surrounding fluid and if water enters into the cell, then rather than making the cells swell, what will happen? This water will enter inside the vacuole and it will get stored there. So the concentration of cytoplasm will not be changed. Okay. Now again, what would happen? Suppose if this concentration becomes hypertonic. Okay. So what will happen? The water will tend to move out. Now to prevent this, more solute needs to be here. So now vacuoles, they store ions also. Okay, they store several ions also, so they will automatically secrete some solute here. If they secrete solute here, what will happen? The concentration of both the fluids will become equal and again there will be no net transfer of water. Okay, so that's how the osmotic pressure of the cell is maintained by the vacuoles. Is it clear to everyone? Is it clear what I have
Yes,
just
ma'am.
told? Okay, Kamalan. Aditi, Shubhranshu, Samagna, Arush, Arsh. Okay, Arush, I'm waiting. Ane, is it clear to you, bache? Henna? To Henna, it's clear, I think. Henna, it's clear? Have you understood? Okay. Okay. So, yes, what will happen? Now the role of cell wall will come in place. Now the role of cell wall will come in place. Suppose if there is too much water present inside it, okay, obviously these vacuoles, they will also need to release their substances outside them. So what will happen? They will be released outside the cell and they will be immediately taken up by the plant's excretory system and they will be removed out of the plant's body. But what happens now? Suppose if there is too much water present inside the cell or inside the vacuoles, then what will happen? They will exert an osmotic pressure or they will exert a water pressure, turgor pressure onto the walls of the cell. And in response to that, if you remember when I had discussed the functions of the cell wall, now the cell wall will exert an equal and opposite pressure. So this will keep the cell's shape intact and it will prevent the cell from bursting. Okay, Ane? Clear? Okay, done. Now, next. So just like I told you that they act as storage vacuoles, so they store several metabolic byproducts in them. So there would be several reactions going on inside the cell. Okay, so suppose in the cell there are several reactions going on simultaneously. For example, there is a reaction occurring here in which the reactants are getting converted into product. Some of the end products will be stored in the vacuoles of the cell. Okay, so they act as the storage house of several end products or several intermediate products also in the reaction if formed. For example, they can store glycogen, proteins, and water. Particularly, students, to go through the NCRT, if you follow the NCRT, then they have mentioned this particular function specifically for plant cells. They have highlighted this, that in plant cells, in the vacuoles, there is a lot of storage material stored. For example, they can be glycogen, proteins, water, etc. Okay. So vape products of various chemical reactions. So you can see various chemical reactions products, they are stored in the vacuoles of the plant cells. Now, in animal cells, what are the vacuoles doing? So they are performing more or less of a similar function. They are storing the waste products, and sometimes in an animal cell, they also stores food. Yes. Okay. Now, amoeba stores food in a vacuole, which is called as a food vacuole. Also, amoeba has a similar different vacuole. That's a food vacuole in amoeba, which is storing food. Okay. And there is one more vacuole in amoeba which is called as contractile vacuole. Okay, questions have been asked several times in NEET examination from this part. So if you're planning to go for NEET in your upcoming classes, then this question was asked that contractile vacuoles can be seen in, the answer was amoeba. So contractile vacuoles, they are again helping the amoeba to maintain the osmotic balance. Okay, so various types of vacuoles, or you can say various functions of vacuoles, are seen inside a plant and an animal cell. Is it clear to everyone? Have you understood this? Have you understood this, students? Is it clear? Shall I move ahead? To everyone else, Hannah, Kevin, Shubhranshu, Ane, Rudra, Samagna, Kamalan, Shaktivel. Ane, yes. What happens? Sometimes the vacuole is storing food. Okay. Then it is acting as a storage vacuole or as a food vacuole. When the vacuole is only designated to maintain the osmotic balance of the cell, then we can call it as a contractile vacuole. Okay. It is just a special type of vacuole which is designated or which is been allotted the function that you will only maintain the osmotic balance in the cell. Okay, Anne? Understood? Okay. Now, so in plant cells, what happens now? In plant cells, the vacuoles, they are full of cell sap. Okay. What is cell sap? Basically, mixture of water and several minerals. So I think this we have already discussed, that obviously there would be lot of things which will be stored inside the plant cell. And in plant cells, vacuoles, usually water and minerals, they are stored. And that is called as cell sap. Cell sap is the mixture of water and minerals which is stored in these vacuoles. Okay, and because of this, it provides turgidity and rigidity to the entire cell. So cell sap is present inside the vacuole. Now everyone solve this question. Everyone answers in the chat box, only and only in the chat box. Yes, start answering everyone. Very good, Arsh, Ane, Arush, Aditi, Hannah, very good. Kevin, very good. Rudra, very good. Kamalan, very good. Arsh, very good. Samagna, very good. Shaktivel, very good. Shubhranshu, very good. So yes, the correct answer to this would be option number B, tonoplast. Well done, everyone. Next. Okay, Ane, I've got your answer. Very good. Arush, very good. Hannah, very good. Aditi, very good. Very good, Shubhranshu. Kamalan, very good. Yes, Shaktivel, very good. Samagna, very good. Harush is saying maybe this is wrong. Ma'am is smiling. Arush, very good. Arush, what's your answer? Arush, your answer is option number C? Anji. Anybody else of a different opinion? The question is, which of the following pair of organelles does not contain DNA? It's okay. You have given this answer vacuoles. Obviously, vacuoles do not contain DNA. But chloroplasts, they contain DNA. I had told you only two cell organelles. I had told you only two cell organelles which had their own DNA. Chloroplast and chloroplast and chloroplast and which other cell organelle contain DNA? Mitochondria. Yes. How can you forget this? So the correct answer would be lysosomes and vacuoles. Yes. So the correct answer to this would be option number D, lysosomes and vacuoles. You people just read the term vacuoles and immediately gave your answer. Okay, because ma'am, vacuoles, just now we have studied vacuoles. Vacuoles do not contain DNA. So yes, vacuoles, but at least check the other option as well. Okay, that's how students you get competitive ready. Okay, read the question first. Yes, Arush. So ma'am, how chloroplast? What? Arush, what's your question? Unmute yourself.
Ma'am, same that chloroplast has also DNA.
क्या क्वेश्चन आरुष आप ये पूछ रहे हो क्लोरोप्लास्ट डीएनए होता है कि नहीं?
Yes, ma'am.
क्लोरोप्लास्ट होता है. क्लोरोप्लास्ट और माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया दोनों में अपना डीएनए होता है. ओके मैं फिर से इस कॉन्सेप्ट को एक बार और एक्सप्लेन कर देती हूँ जिसको ये चीज नहीं समझ में आई है. एक प्लीज एवरीवन look at this diagram of a plant cell. Now I am drawing. Okay, I am drawing a plant cell. Everyone, please follow this. This is very important. Plant cell I am drawing because I can also show chloroplast in it. That's why I am drawing a plant cell. Okay, so this was a plant cell. Now in the plant cell you have nucleus present. Okay, and inside this nucleus the central DNA is present. Okay, this is your DNA which is present inside the nucleus. This DNA which is present inside the nucleus, it is controlling whole of the cell. Okay, it is controlling the function of whole of the cell, whole of the plant cell. But in some other cell organelles, like when we talk of mitochondria, okay, the mitochondria also, they have their own small circular DNA molecules. Yes, they also have their own circular DNA molecules, small circular DNA molecules. Okay, now the function of these DNA molecules would be somehow limited to mitochondria. They would be guiding certain synthesis of molecules for this mitochondria only. They will not be making anything else for the cell. Similarly, when we talk about a chloroplast, okay, so this is a chloroplast. Now I am drawing inside a plant cell. Okay, now these are thylakoids, if you remember the structure of a chloroplast. Then inside this chloroplast also you can see small circular DNA molecules, and these small circular DNA molecules again will be manufacturing something for this chloroplast. It will not guide any other function of this entire cell. Okay, so they have small circular DNA which synthesizes proteins particularly for that particular cell organelle. Okay, is it clear? Okay, to everyone else, is it clear? Have you understood this, students? Okay, now next question. Okay, Arush, Hannah, okay. Okay, Aditi, Ane. Ane has given a different answer. Okay. Okay, Shubhranshu. Kamalan, okay. Ane, okay. Shaktivel, okay. Samagna, okay. Kevin, okay. Arush, Arsh, what's your answer? Kevin, okay. Rudra, okay. Arsh, okay. Now, some of you said option number A. Again, you people are making the same mistake. In the hasten of giving the answer, you people are not reading all the options. You people are not reading all the options. Students, take your time. There is no hurry. There is no rush to answer the question. At least take 10 seconds, 15 seconds to read the question and then give your answer. Aren't all of these statements regarding the vacuoles are true? See yourself. It is present in both plants and animals. Yes. Central vacuole is present in plants. Yes. It occupies 90% volume of the plant cells. Yes. So the correct answer would be option number D, all of these. It occupies 90% volume of the plant cells. So yes, in plant cells, they have a centralized, very large vacuole. Okay. So that's why we give the answer all of these. See, even if you were confident, okay. So that's the trick I am going to tell you people. Even if you were confident for two options and there was no option available which could say that both A and B are correct, then what was the option left? All of these. Even if you were not clear, if you were not sure about option number C. Okay, so what happens, students? In examination, you might not always need or you might not always know the correct answer. Okay, that's absolutely okay. We are humans. Okay, but what we can do is we can eliminate the wrong options. That's one skill which you should people now make your habit, eliminating the wrong options. Okay, start eliminating the wrong options. Eventually, you will come to the correct option. No worries. Okay. So the correct answer to this would be again option number D. Now we have seen some important organelles of a cell. All the organelles were covered by a membrane. Okay. Now such cells which have membrane bounded cell organelles. Okay. So now I'm again reiterating the difference between prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. So cells which have membrane bounded cell organelles. Students, when I was at your age, okay, when I was at your age, I always used to get confused by this term, membrane bounded cell organelles. Okay, so membrane bounded cell organelles does not mean that I am talking of this plasma plasma membrane. No, I am talking about the cell organelle's own membrane. See, this is the nucleus membrane which I am drawing. This is the endoplasmic reticulum's membrane which I am drawing. This is the mitochondria's membrane which I am drawing. This is the chloroplast membrane which I am drawing. So these cell organelles, they have their own membranes. That's why such cells, they are called as eukaryotic cells. Okay. Now, prokaryotic cells, they do not have any membrane bounded cell organelles. If you see a prokaryotic cell, then inside a prokaryotic cell, you will only see cytoplasm present. Okay. However, there is one cell organelle which is present in a prokaryotic cell, and that's a ribosome. Okay, that's a ribosome. Now, see, we are saying that no membrane bounded cell organelles are found in prokaryotic cells. Okay, but you have ribosomes here. So now, students, let me tell you this, that ribosomes, they are not bounded by any membrane. They do not have membrane. What I am drawing here is basically just to show you some structure. This is exactly not the membrane. Basically, they are aggregates of several molecules like this. Okay, the RNA, they basically are the aggregates of certain molecules like this. But if I draw ribosomes like this, you will not be able to understand. So that's why I gave this a boundary like this. Okay, but they are simply aggregates of certain molecules like this. Okay, and that's why ribosomes, they are not bounded by any membrane, and hence they are present in a prokaryotic cell. Is it clear? Is it clear to everyone? Students, is it clear? To everyone else? Quickly show me a thumbs up. Everyone, quickly show me a thumbs up if it's clear. Shubhranshu, Arsh, to rest of the students. Aditi, Shaktivel, okay. Now, the eukaryotic cells, they have a well-defined nucleus. So this we have studied, okay. And the size of a eukaryotic cell, it ranges from 5 to 100 millimeter. Yes, they are comparatively larger in size. And they have more than one chromosomes. So if you see a eukaryotic cell, in a eukaryotic cell, if you see the nucleus, so inside the nucleus, so let's say if it is a human cell, okay. So we have total, likewise, this total 46 chromosomes present. So usually they have more than one chromosomes present inside their nucleus, and they are present in higher advanced unicellular and multicellular plants and animals. So eukaryotic cells are present in plants and animals. Okay, so this was the structure of a eukaryotic cell. This we have already discussed in the first class, if you remember. Now moving ahead to a prokaryotic cell. So you can see from here, that's a prokaryotic cell, and it has just three basic structures. That is, it has one plasma membrane, it has one cell wall, and it has its nuclear material. Now see, this is the nuclear material which is present. This pink structure, this is the nuclear material. Okay. Now this nuclear material is DNA. Okay. And their nucleus lacks membrane. So just like when we were drawing the eukaryotic cell, in the eukaryotic cell, we were making the nucleus and then we were making the DNA present in it. However, in a prokaryotic cell, the DNA is lying like this. Okay, it is not bounded by any nuclear membrane. And this space of the cytoplasm where this DNA is lying, that is called as nucleoid. Okay, so this space is called as nucleoid, and this nucleoid, okay, so this DNA of the prokaryotic cell, it usually takes the form of one large chromosome. Yes, so they contain a single chromosome, whereas in a eukaryotic cell, you have, for example, if you talk about a human cell, then you have 46 chromosomes. Whereas in a prokaryotic cell in bacteria, the DNA takes the shape of one large chromosome, and that is not even present inside a nuclear membrane. It is lying freely in the cytoplasm in a space called as nucleoid. Yes, Ane, in prokaryotic cell, DNA is present or DNA is lying in the cytoplasm. So that area of the cytoplasm, so suppose this was the area of the cytoplasm, okay, this where this DNA is lying, this now we are calling this space, okay, as your nucleoid. Okay, nucleoid is no structure. It is just that space of the cytoplasm where this DNA is lying. Okay, Ane? Got it? To everyone else, is it clear? So this is nucleoid. Membrane bounded cell organelles are again absent. You cannot see any other membrane bounded cell organelles in it. Now, in some of the photosynthetic bacteria, okay, now in photosynthetic bacteria, some bacteria, that means some prokaryotes, they can also do photosynthesis. This is just additional information for all of you, okay. Some bacteria, they are also able to perform photosynthesis, but for photosynthesis you require chlorophyll pigment, okay, and chlorophyll is present in chloroplast. But these prokaryotic cells, we just read that they do not have any membrane bounded cell organelles. So what happens? This chlorophyll here is present in the form of vesicles. So you can see this is chlorophyll pigment, which is simply lying in the vesicles rather than in chloroplast in some bacteria. And prokaryotic cells, they have their size from 1 to 10 millimeters. Students, I'll get back to you on this. I think this is micrometers, not millimeters. Okay, I'll get back to you on this. Let me confirm the size of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cell. Okay, please do not write this the size of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells. I think this is micrometer. This is not millimeter. So do not write this size of prokaryotic and eukaryotic cells for now. Okay. Yes. Arush, what the area called under the organelles where cytoplasm are not present, that is called? Arush, what's your doubt? Bache, unmute yourself and ask your doubt. Cytosol. Okay, cytosol. Okay, Arush, cytosol. Got it? Okay. Now solve this question, everyone. Solve this question, everyone. Ane, okay. Arush, okay. Ane, got your answer once. Okay. Now, Kamalan, okay. Yes, Shubhranshu. Okay. Hannah, okay. Aditi, okay. Rudra, okay. Who has not given the answer? Samagna, Kevin has left. Okay. Shaktivel, yes. Okay. So, yes, well done. The correct answer is option number D. No organelles are membrane bound. No. This time it is right. Okay. This time it is right. So, yes, the correct answer is option number D. No organelles are membrane bound. Okay. Now, cell division. So, cell division we are going to study in next class. So, let's conclude what all have we studied. So, today we had studied the structure and the difference in the functioning of the vacuoles, okay, in plant and in animal cells. And then we had also studied the differences between eukaryotic and prokaryotic cell. Okay, so this we had already covered now. Now what's next? So in next class, we are going to talk about cell division. Very, very important topic. Extremely important. So please do attend that class. Do not miss this class.